Sometime in 2006, the world saw the beginnings of rumblings in the global financial sector, resulting in a tsunami which later became known as the global financial crisis. The subprime mortgage crisis had overwhelmed the American and European banking systems, leading to huge bailouts like never before seen. Some bailouts were even used to pay huge million-dollar bonuses to the smart Alex who ran the banks. Pundits called it the socialization of losses and the privatization of profits as the Western countries went into an overdrive of company nationalization and, if you like, socialization, strategies for which they would have excoriated other nations. It was in reaction to this that the nonconformists around the world created the concept of Bitcoin. They imagined the financial sector where regulators would not be too close to the operators and where indeed the trust brought to bear on the system by banking and financial regulators will be unnecessary, instead replaced by what is known as blockchain technology, a digital means by which people engaged in financial transactions can keep their own accounts and generate codes to protect transactions for everyone. It is a protected distributed ledger system. What you see is what you get, and also it's cheaper for the system and for the users. The idea of Bitcoin has spun off at least 10,000 other similar cryptocurrencies, but Bitcoin sits atop the pack. These pseudo assets, because they have no intrinsic value, are rather volatile in price. The idea behind them is to replace what is called fiat currency, which is currencies issued by central banks, hence decentralization. These instruments have not been totally successful. The acceptability is still doubtful. So, as a means of exchange, it is a limited instrument, for one. What is more, central banks around the world may not admit, but in reaction to and in preparation for the onslaught of cryptos, central banks have devised the CBDCs, that's central bank digital currencies, like the Nigerian e-Naira, which are meant to show that central banks are ready to go fully digital using blockchain technology if they are forced to the wall by the crypto revolution. Joining us today is Mr. Dayo Akinwole, a software engineer and proprietor of the African Blockchain Academy, a school dedicated to equipping young adults with skills and opportunities in Web3 and blockchain technology. He will be arguing on the side of the revolutionary benefits of decentralized finance as a whole. Please keep your channel locked down on Trust TV, as this promises to be very enlightening to both young and not so young audiences. So you're highly welcome, Dayo.
Yes, good afternoon, Doctor. It's good to have you.
Yeah, great to have you, Dayo. I thank you for coming and honoring us on Trust TV as we talk about this very interesting topic today. Without wasting much of your time, let me just shoot. Is it true that decentralized banking seeks to eliminate central banking, and how?
Oh, well, in theory, decentralized finance is actually designed to have the potential to eliminate central banking. But the question is, can it perform the entire function of a central bank? The answer is no. So, because we have to keep in mind the role of a central bank, which is the key policy maker, and that underpins global financial system. So centralized banking is needed to take strategic and operational decisions. And already we are beginning to see some features in DeFi, such as the consensus mechanisms, which favor concentration of power. And these are features of centralization. So we are beginning to see centralization in a decentralized financial system. So, and again, DeFi's vulnerability are severe because of high leverage, liquidity mismatches, and built absorbing capacity. So for this reason, I would say decentralized finance is or does not currently have the potential to eliminate central banking.
Now, because my concern is, I've heard some very extremist DeFi enthusiasts say, well, the whole idea is, let's eradicate central banks. And then I started to wonder, so does that not lead to an anarchy? How do governments get their taxes, if not through the financial sector, which they control through the central bank? So, I mean, now you
Well,
mentioned that there's some sort of centralization in
civilization
decentralized
in
finance. Of course,
decentralized.
it sounds a bit confusing. Can you elaborate on these two
Yeah.
issues?
Well, as with every disruptive technology, the laws regarding decentralized finance are evolving. So these laws are evolving every day. But one fact has been certain, and that is since 2014, that cryptocurrency profits are taxable. So the basics of cryptocurrency taxation were outlined by the IRS, that's the Internal Revenue Service, in around. The notice defined virtual currency for tax purposes as property, and that's where it starts from. So it was not defined as a foreign currency. It was defined as a property. So if used in a transaction, it's what is set at its fair market value. I hope you get
Okay.
that. Now, the
Yeah.
difference between its value when purchased and its value when spent is taxable. And that's
Okay.
how the IRS has been able to successfully tax um, cryptocurrency, which is a component of decentralized finance. Now, some of the things that has been achieved by the IRS was for to tax every profit on any sold or exchanged coin or cryptocurrency. So if you change or you sold a cryptocurrency, it is taxable.
Mm.
The profits, you hold capital gains on that profit. Use cryptocurrency to buy goods or services, you owe taxes on the increased value between the price you paid for the crypto coin and its value at the time you spent it. And also, if you accept cryptocurrency as payment for goods or services, you must report it as business income. So that's clearly defined and makes it easier for the government to tax cryptocurrency transactions.
Okay. Nice one. But then you mentioned that cryptocurrency is one of the components of decentralized finance. What would you say are the other
Yes.
components, or what makes up the terminology called DeFi?
All right. The term decentralized finance itself to Telegram chat that was between some software developers and entrepreneurs. They were trying to decide what to comment of this need of financial services created, built on a blockchain and capable of stripping out um, the term decentralized finance to be. So, in perspective, let's imagine this finance to be Nigerians spending and accepting the naira note without the central bank. So that is what the central try to do. So imagine we don't have a central bank of Nigeria, but we are spending the naira. So that's what finance is trying to do. So it's an emerging technology that will be based on a secured ledger that we call the blockchain. So this system removes the control banks and the institutions, and then the financial product and financial services. That's what decentralized finance is seek out to
Fantastic.
achieve.
Fantastic. Yeah, thank you, Dayo. Now, let's put the ball on the ground and see now. People would argue that, the cryptocurrencies, for example, are very volatile in price. Here today, gone tomorrow. They could drop 20, 30% in a day. They could rise 30, 50% in a day and all. And therefore, that stability that you require of a currency may not be there, to say that, because currencies need to be a bit stable. That's one. Let's look at that stability. That's one. So is this if people call this a pseudo asset that is very volatile in price, would you be able to argue against that? And what advice would you have for our young Nigerians who believe that trading cryptocurrency is equivalent to having a career? That's what they want to do.
Okay, let me ask you one question, Dr. Tokwe. Okay, It makes the fiat currency, what gives it the intrinsic value that we're talking about?
Well, I'll answer you, and that's even though I don't want you to turn the table because I'm the interviewer, but all the same, I'll answer you to say that
Okay.
it's historical. So they are backed by
Yeah.
sovereign nations. They used to be backed by gold in the
Exactly.
past, that which
I
was
I
removed in 1971. But they're backed by central banking, they're backed by the government. So it's the government that says that, look, this is our currency, you must accept it. If someone trades Naira, if
exactly.
someone pays you in Naira and you refuse to accept it in Nigeria, they could get you arrested. Okay, and of course, you know that the
Yes.
central bank also has rules about not collecting foreign currency for local transactions. So now the
Yes.
government is not there for cryptocurrency. The gold backing is not there for
Yes.
cryptocurrency. What do you have?
Now, let's go back to that question I asked you about fiat currency, because it actually came from the Latin word "let it be done," meaning that the currency we use today, which are fiat, are valuable because they have the full faith and credit of the economy in which they exist. But for the cryptocurrency, in order to predict it, or in order to predict its future value, we should, or the government should work it so that we can understand how the value arrived. So value is going to be a measurement of the goodness of the thing. So which is generally the good measurement of any given thing. So some things are instrumental goods, meaning they are goods because they allow us to access some other good. So this intrinsic value of the cryptocurrency are good. They are the thing we have to work to act just the same way we've been able to accept fiat currency because the government and policymakers say, okay, this is it. This must be acceptable. Of course, the fiat of other transactions over the years, it hasn't really solved the entire transaction issues. We have seen some of the issues that cryptocurrency is coming to replace in fiat currency. But that notwithstanding, the foundational block on which cryptocurrency is actually that is the now how did that
Okay.
shape.
Now it's breaking up.
One
Okay.
is not going to out.
Right. Okay. Okay, Dayo. Thank you. Thank you for
Okay.
that. Even though at the
Do
tail end
you
you were a bit choppy there, but so we'll take a short break now, and then we'll come back. When we come back, I'll go back to Dayo and ask him about the what advice he has for young people who are crypto traders who are also facing the volatility in the market. Stay tuned to this show.
Digital currency is any currency, money, or money-like asset that is primarily managed, stored, or exchanged on digital computer systems, especially over the internet. It is also called digital money, electronic currency, or cybercash. Digital currencies do not have physical attributes and are available only in digital form. Transactions involving digital currencies are made using computers or electronic wallets connected to the internet or designated networks. This is in contrast to physical currencies such as banknotes and minted coins, also known as fiat currency, which are tangible, meaning they have definite physical attributes and characteristics. However, digital currencies have utility like that of physical currencies. They can be used to purchase goods and pay for services. They can also find restricted use among certain online communities, such as gaming sites or social networks. Digital currencies also enable instant transactions that can be seamlessly executed across borders. There are different types of digital currency. However, digital currency is an overarching term that can be used to describe different types of currencies that exist in the electronic realm. First up is cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrencies are digital currencies that use cryptography to secure and verify transactions in a network. Cryptography is also used to manage and control the creation of such currencies. Bitcoin and Ethereum are examples of cryptocurrencies. Depending on the jurisdiction, cryptocurrencies may or may not be regulated. Second, virtual currencies. These are unregulated digital currencies controlled by developers or a founding organization consisting of various stakeholders involved in the process. Virtual currencies can also be algorithmically controlled by a defined network protocol. An example of a virtual currency is a gaming network token whose economics is defined and controlled by developers. Cryptocurrencies are considered virtual currencies because they are unregulated and exist only in digital form. Lastly, central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, are regulated digital currencies issued by the central bank of a country. For example, the e-Naira by the Central Bank of Nigeria. A CBDC can be a supplement or a replacement to traditional fiat currency. Unlike fiat currency, which exists in both physical and digital form, our CBDC exists purely in digital form.
Welcome back to The Nationalist, the show that will bring you topical issues in finance and business, politics, sociology, and the economy at large. With us, we have Mr. Dayo Akinwale, and we've been talking about decentralized finance, of which cryptocurrency is a major part. Mr. Dayo, you're still there? Yes, though the latter end of your discussion, I'd want you to be very brief because we have very little time on our hands. The idea of cryptocurrency trading as a profession, maybe to someone who has just finished university, and of course the volatility in the market. I am aware, because I also follow the market, that the market is down about 50% from last year, or from the peak last year. What do you have to say to that?
Okay, about people taking this as a career, I would ask if we have people working for the stock exchange, we can have people trading on the floor of the stock exchange, and they are taking it as career. I would say we should allow our young people to actually full-fledged in cryptocurrency. It's no longer cryptocurrency. It goes into it goes into NFTs, where we have to work with our creatives, where we show we tokenize and means creative digital to derive right there. Because the problem, we jump on this late, we products for who are the earliest. I'm not saying everyone should jump on the train. Of course, as with every sector, it could be a bubble, but of course, we can see the rest of the world profiting. I do not see any reason why regulation should restrict our youth from
now,
fiat currency, stock, and options as a career. I don't see any reason why our young people should not take cryptocurrency trading and its components as a career.
Fair enough. What do you have to say about the pushback from central bank digital currencies, like the e-Naira and some other jurisdictions like the Eurozone, dollar? They're also thinking of e-currencies, also at the same platform using blockchain technology as well. Very quickly, on that, maybe 1 minute.
Of course, as with every CBDC, experimenting with a very insignificant. So it is with, but in the case of Nigeria, I'll say the push hasn't been enough. We haven't this CBDC been marketed as it should be marketed. It's a conflict of interest on the side of. Can you hear me? Okay, so I'm saying it could be a conflict of interest between the stakeholders in the financial institution who felt, because you can imagine me and you exchanging CBDC where there is charges, no SMS. Of course, the banks themselves, who are the promoters of this
Okay.
CBDC, would
Thank
not
you.
make
Okay.
as much profit as they would make when we transact using fiat currency.
Right. Your last word, please, on how this can be useful for Nigeria's developmental aspirations. Under 30 seconds.
Oh yes, very useful, and we are beginning to see emergence of new fintech company, and most of those fintech companies in the future would definitely tilt towards decentralized finance. They are currently only being restricted by the regulation. As we move forward, we can see almost on a daily basis we hear news of funding foreign deposit investments into Nigeria by VCs of Silicon Valley and the West, putting money into financial technology. And decentralized is the future of is the future of financial technology. In fact, it is the real fintech.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Mr. Daya Akinwale, for joining us. I think we'll have to continue this discussion, perhaps in live session on another day. And so thank you for coming and thanks for answering those questions. You've been most fantastic. Thank you very much,
Yeah.
viewers, for being with us today, for sticking with this channel. We're going to be bringing you other very interesting topics in episodes to come. Thank you very much for listening and watching.